Right, where are we in 1838? We had a big switch this last operating round. So we went from, I think, the 3 trains all the way up through the 5s. Most of the 5s have been busted out. We had a couple of pay out of pocket type situations, and this guy is sitting here with a couple of 3 BISs. They both die as soon as the first 6 goes. He has dumped what shares he could, as did the SV player, who is also in a bit of trouble in terms of not having a permanent train. Everybody else has a permanent train on their company. So these people are kind of dumping their shares, dropping their stock value. You can see this is a game where stock value didn't grow. So dumping your stock value doesn't really do much. Like, you know, most of these guys started at $100 and they're a little below $100 at this point. This thing got pillaged a couple of times, so it's not way ahead either, although it's fine. It has a 5 train, right? Nothing but a 5 train. There is a spare iffy 4 train still out there, which is sort of a trap. If the 6 train comes out and kills one of these, someone may be forced to buy that $350 4 train, which is really just a $350 at least screw over. It's actually probably more than that, because you're going to not be able to get the 6 train. You're going to have to go, I don't remember if there's 7s in this. Yeah, you're either going to have to go for the 7, which there's 1 cheap 7, and then we go up to the 8 at 900. So, yeah, it looks really, really ugly. On the bright side, nobody has to do any careful calculations about, will I lose the game if I bankrupt someone? Because this is a game that does not end when a player bankrupts. That actually just opens up more opportunities, more stocks available, stuff like that. The board looks more open, mainly because I got rid of all those stupid Fs, the black cubes. I gotta keep all these damn brown cubes on the board. I guess I could kind of just remember how far down, because this guy gets a special placement still. And it's the amount of, most of the concessions are gone. There's like 2 concessions left, 3 concessions left available. The busyness of the amount of like different informational pieces on the board is really kind of a burden that this game carries. We're going to be over here on priority. I don't know what he's going to do. He has no money. He has no options really. I mean, I could sell one of these and one of these. This is actually worth some money. This thing, probably not worth selling, but I might be able to exchange this and get a share of something that'll actually make money, because these companies are just so screwed. They cannot make money. And they're going to lose stock value too, because I'm going to be cashing in shares out of here as soon as I can. Yeah. All the privates are gone. Some of them got screwed out of existence. And the CCRF, I think, is what it's called, is in full, like, capitalist mode now, which means it runs like any other corporation. There are interesting opportunities. Well, there's an interesting opportunity out there in terms of the bus line, which is able to move out into the plains now. This thing, I mean, it's not terrible, but if you need some place to invest, sure, but it's dangling off here. It might be interesting to him based on being... See, the problem is he has to give up stock value to get a bigger, better company, is what it turns up to be. No matter what he does, but he could pay out... He could start this as at a fairly low price and then get value here. One other nice thing is, if I'm starting in the 150 space, I think I start in this one. if that's the case. I still have a fair way I can drop. But that may not be that terrible. Because I don't know what the runs are going to be like. I'm guessing with these two trains, not bad. But I could get an influx of cash into the company, lower its value a little bit, but make it a more powerful company. Does that really help me? I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah. Something to think about. Of course, it's like 10 a.m. and my neighbor has smoke coming out, which to me means it's kind of chilly out and I should wait a little bit. But, and I just am using that as an excuse. I should go out shopping. I can't. I just can't. The same way that I feel about going to sleep. I'm like, I just can't. I can't. Now, I think I'm going to try to take a couple hours nap or something, which will probably screw me and I'll probably end up, I don't know. Anyway, let's get the stock round out of the way. Do that first. Priority is going to be over here. Well, what can I gather together? That's worth 65 bucks if I sell one of those. I can sell one of these for another 90. That's 155, 165. What could I buy with that kind of money? I'd like to buy things with permanent trains, right? Well, I could arrange to buy one of those, get a second one of them. That's not bad, except of course, got the danger of somebody handing me yet a third company into the crapper. If he wants to, you know. What else is out there? The FSF is out there, and that is in viable shape. He's only got one company. I do not have any shares of it. I can't get any of this green guy, whatever the hell this is. FSF is running here at 90. I could just make a quick exchange. If somebody wants to buy my company, they can have it. Right? Why not? And I will buy an FSF. And that means, it's not 90 bucks from there. It's 100. So I owe 10 more bucks and 100 bucks goes into here. Now, this is an astoundingly good time to buy another company. As we come to him. He could buy his blue company at 150. I don't have that. But I do have these suckers, which I can sell off. Probably want to sell them all. They're not bad, but the reason I want to sell them all is if I'm going to take a drop in stock value, I might as well take a larger drop in stock value. Don't want to, well, yeah, there's throwing money into this, but that's throwing money away. It's 100 bucks for a 40. As it is, I can swallow with it and just throw it in there, or not, as I choose, because 50% will go in there no matter what, which I think is pretty healthy. So if I start that company, I'm improving my own value. What would I need to start the company? At 150, I would need about 30 bucks more. If I sell one of these, see, I expect this to be worth something. This is the problem. I'm like looking at it, and it's like, it's worthless. But holding a bunch of shares of somebody else's stuff doesn't seem like a good idea. Do I want to hold two, though? Or do I want to sell them off a little, all at once? I think I'll sell them off all at once. Not thrilled by it, but there's always this I can buy up. Okay. 3 of those gives me 270 bucks. $275. And now I want to start this at 150. Get it up there and spend 300 on that. I will also get the 150 for this in the company treasury, which is a bonus. Since this isn't a company I necessarily want to keep or run or whatever, what I'm doing is I'm upvaluing my shares and I'm dumping somebody else's. I'm setting myself up in a position where I am guaranteed to get that 5 train. As long as I buy another share. Where am I going to get that other share from? Yeah. Oh, that's a big question, isn't it? Because there's this piece of shit out there. Well, I can juggle trains to do this. I can juggle the SV train or this train or whatever in order to get, although clearly the SV is the better one to juggle in order to get all the cash in one place. But if I do that, I'm not guaranteed the 5 anymore. Fuck. God damn it. I need more money. Where am I going to get the extra money? Yeah, I don't think I can do it. Son of a bitch. Let me unwind. I've got 2 companies. I don't need this. This does not have a par. I could buy a share for $100 and just protect my share. Or I could pay $100, take a little bit of a loss, and buy a share of this. I think I'll buy one of those purples. Because although it's not optimal, I think it's the best I can do. Puts me over to him. What's he up to? What is he up to? Wow, I have no shares of anything. Doesn't have a hell of a lot of money either. $180. I mean, I could start a presidency, whoop, 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 the same position that I'd be in, that he'd be in, where there's, 3 shares in there, which gives $450, which is not enough for this, and there's no way to gain money right away. I also don't have $300 to start it. I have 180. There's a lot of cheap shit out there. What looks good out of the cheap shit? Nothing. This looks like it's going to make some money. I'm going to pay my $100 and grab a share of that. Oh, I have 2. Ooh. All right. We'll do it because he does not have a company and I can always dump afterwards. That moves down here. What's his job? He's got cash. Do I have stuff that's worthless? That SV, I don't know. It's probably going to pay out with 50% in there. The Regio. What's this thing? That looks pretty iffy. It's also not worth shit. So I kind of don't like selling stuff that's really, really cheap. There is room for another share. I look around, there's not a lot of money around. This company does not excite me at all. But you know what does? The bus. I'm going to spend $300 and buy myself the bus company. Can't buy trains. Doesn't have to buy trains. Can't do anything too exciting. How does it start? This is new, right? I don't know if it starts with buses in its starting locations is what I need to look up here. So let's look this sucker up. Places tokens equal to the train class available at that moment from the bank. Yeah, okay. And I believe I looked something up. They have to pay for those tokens. They don't get them for free. But remember, let's look through this. The Sarsa always pays its terrain cost. But I got 300 bucks. And we're going to be starting where? Castelnova, Monte, and Sasso, which we may need to look on here. Well, look at all these mountains. Castelnova, Monte is where? It's this city. And Sassy. And we got to build, or Sasso, which is down here. We got to build out of the mountains to some extent, but once we get into the plains, we're allowed to build for free, right? Two tokens each operating round from a different starting base. Payment of train cost, even if there's track already built. Sarsa gets to run right off its first turn. Until the 5, it can only operate on Mountain Hill. After the first 5, it can operate on plains, but it only places 1 token in each operating round. Ooh. So it's going to be a slower growth than I had hoped. But I believe that I'm okay here. And I got to maintain a 1-to-2 ratio, which is not a problem, but it's something to keep in mind. Where's he? He's passing. 20 bucks. Can't see changing my situation. Keep priority where we want it. 80 bucks. I could hand priority to him, which is dangerous, by buying a share of something. And it even counts if I buy a political support or something. I do not want to hand, well, I'm safe. I'm safe. Right? I think I am. Or do I? I don't know. I don't know if I feel safe or not. Ooh. And the bus company, unlike trains, you can't really rape it. So it's like, I mean, you can dump privates into it if you have it early, but it doesn't really, there's not much danger. I don't feel like I have much danger holding 3 shares of his company. I think he'll hurt himself so much by taking it out if he doesn't buy a corporation. Do I want one? No. Primarily, I don't want this yet. Do I? I don't know. All right. If I sold these, first of all, I'd take a big loss. I'd get 270, 335. I do not have enough cash, do I? Because I might have enough to guarantee that 5 train, and then maybe it's worth it. But here's the problem. If I buy the 5 train, I'm putting the stock value at 150. Then I'm taking a huge loss in combining these if I combine them. So if I wanted to combine it, I would be paying less. I would be paying a lot less. So, shouldn't have bought one of these. But let's say I get 180. I can set the value at like 65 and then kind of merge these kind of nicely. I think that'll actually do me well. All right, I'll sell these two for 180 bucks. Things are crowded here. That's 205. I'm fucking with everybody's priority now. And I am going to, what do I have? 250, 260. $65 times 4 is 260. That sounds nice. How about that? That works out perfectly. Yeah, I'm going to start this at 65, which fucks him over. But, you know, down here, don't have enough money to really do anything. Do I have anything that's absolute shit? This might be. Oops, where did I put this? Put it under the wrong thing. Okay. It goes late. I'm not going to get the option on the 5 train, but maybe I do, maybe I don't. We don't know. Because other than this, I don't see anybody who's real close to getting it. He may want to buy a share of that. Okay. Which I don't know if he has the money with this, but he may want to exchange one of those. Yeah. What about him? He wants to not hold this. This just doesn't look like it's going to make money. And there are 4 in there, I believe, so I can sell one for 65 bucks. Well, the bus company cost me way too much. Maybe I don't want to sell that. Yeah, I'll hold what I have. I'll pass. That gives me the priority now. This moves over here. He's not in any kind of different position. We come up here and he says, hey, I'm in a different position though. I would like to buy from here. This will cost me 100 bucks. This is worth 65. 75, 85, fuck. Not the amount that I want. If I sell this, this is worth 90. That's 100. Put 100 into the SV and grab that third share. Because I don't know that 50% is going to buy me the train. Right? What would I be running this train at? 70, 130, and looks like 90. 220. Yeah, you know what? I'm not putting that in. I'm not selling my share. I think I make enough. This was at 90. I think I may have figured that out already, although I probably didn't say it. But yeah, he is okay. He's going to be able to get that first. Well, he's going to be able to get the 5 train if the 5 train is available. And that's the big question. Will it be available? I don't know. Which means he'll pass as well. We come back around. I got tons of money now. I have to invest in these so that I can do the merger. going to be buying a train and shifting shit around and doing all kind of crappy, weird shit. But what happens? There shouldn't be one of these in here. Yeah, that's a good way to lose money. What happens now? I have to buy more of these at 65 each. I'll handle that. I think everybody else is just passing, and he's going to fill out his portfolio with as many of them as he can so that he can do trade-ins with them, getting to the 150. Because this is going to come to 155 total, so I don't lose much by the merger. Works out pretty well. He might be worried. That's a lot of stock value he's going to lose. As I'm seeing this forming, I feel like I have to dump these. Do I want to dump them all? Yeah, because I can pay 75 bucks. It has to be cash, though. So I have to hold 75 bucks for the merger. Now, I'll have made that much money. Won't I? Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. I think I'm selling all three so that I don't take the loss. Now, as he's reacting, priority ends up here because I bought up all of these. Nobody else has anything they really want to do, can do, whatever. These are my railway, I'm safe. These are all my own, I'm safe. He's got priority, he's safe with whatever he's holding, which is all his own stuff. And he's only holding his own stuff in large quantities. I'm out of $100 shares of this that I can buy. I'm taking a big loss on them. They're worth 40 each, but they'll go back up, whatever. I'm putting tons of money in the company. I think that's good. I do have $100 shares of this I can buy. That looks reasonably healthy. And then I may buy another share of the blue because the trade-in is going to be really good on that. So we swing back around. He's not too happy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to lose some money by having a larger quantity of the green, but I think overall this works out for the best for me. And I'll be getting this new company instead. But maybe losing the game by losing that little bit of money. Who knows? We come back around to him, and he has one more thing he wants to do, which is buying a second share of this. Dangerous? Hell yeah. This guy could figure out a way, buy all the money over into here and exchange it. That would be a really dicky thing to do. I feel like I'm far enough behind, I'm willing to take that chance. I don't know which he's going to do, though, because getting all this money into this one company, 2 permanent trains is good. You know, I'm going to have 2 permanent trains, but I'm taking a stock loss in it. Of course, I am making a more powerful company, but do I need it? Do I need it? That other company is not that much better. It is 2 tokens better. Like, it is the combine of the 2 companies. So I would be getting boom, 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 and one more token somewhere, which could be very valuable, like here or here, that could be very important for controlling stuff. On the other hand, a couple of permanent trains, a good central location. I think fuck him, but we don't know. He's really trying to sleaze things here. He's got 2 of these shares that are worth 65 each. Of course, I got screwed out of one of them by the price being lowered so much. But 2 shares at 65 each, it's $130. I'm making 20 bucks off mine. He's losing a little bit more. Which way do I go? That's the big question. With the priority sitting where it is, it's just such a tempting thing. And that's going to put me over here. I'm going to break. I think I'm going to nap. try to snooze for another hour. Well, I didn't actually snooze, but I had my eyes closed, listened to podcasts or whatever. To feel like the time span for which I'm willing to live for a future is getting narrower and narrower. Like, it's been difficult for the past few years just going shopping or whatever, knowing, yeah, I'll have food for 2-3 weeks. It's getting to a point where I just don't know. I just don't know. Well, after midnight, I guess it's Tuesday morning now. Well, I was successful today in that I managed to snooze for a few hours, then go shopping, play a little Raid, go back to sleep, play some more Raid. But I got what I wanted done, and that's kind of cool. I also think I've got kind of a pattern where I may be able to be up at a time tomorrow. I kind of want to go for a walk again. There's a cemetery I like to go to, and for whatever reason, I walked by it on my shopping trip, and it brought it to mind. Okay. And no, I'm not being just morbid about the cemetery. It's a really pleasant place to go that I have memories from. Okay. So where the hell am I? Because, yep, I should be on the stock round. Oh no, I'm on this third operating round. We draw events on the operating round. There are no more privates, so I don't have to deal with that. We get flooding. During this OR, no track can be placed or upgraded in the F hexes. Oh, fuck. I took all this shit off the board. Well, luckily I have this, which tells me where they are. I have a pretty good idea. I think that they're floodplain, to tell you the truth, but I do still think it's kind of weird that we're not hitting up here. I think it's like, because I think this is the, could this be the Po? It looks blue, but it's going up into like Switzerland and stuff, so I'm not sure. But anyway. That means we look for the highest valued company, which is going to be the bus company. We have not run the bus company before, so let's do it. We have special rules for it that we were just looking at, but we got to do it. All right. So where do I start? Castellanova, Monte, and Sasso. All right. This one's easier to see the towns on. Castellanovi Monte is down here. That'll be this one, I think. And Sasso is down here. I must play those two. But I have to see, how many do I get total? During its first turn, it placed a number equal to the train class available at that moment from the bank. I think that's this one, not this one. This is in the bank pool. So that means I will get 5. Okay. The first 2 tokens have to go in the starting hexes. Castellanova Monte. This is a big mountain. That's $80. 120. And then the next 2 have to come off of it. Now, these are worth more but cost more. But I think we'll do this. I was at 120, 200. And we want to get to the plains, boss. We'll go to 240. The nice thing about the planes is that's going to allow me to start laying buses for free. I was at 240. That gets me 60 bucks, which is important because I have like nothing left, right? I used up all my money on those 4 buses. I am allowed to run right away because I don't have to buy a train. So, city hexes, etc., things are worth what they look like. A hex without anything is worth nothing. This has a town, so it's worth 40. 30 plus 10. 40, 50, 60. I'm not allowed to go off board. So I think I just get 60. I don't think the run is created by adding the value of each adjacent hex containing a token. That's a really weird way of putting it. Okay, you can count only the higher in value of the 2 groups. The run is calculated of each adjacent hex containing a token. So actually I kind of want to get these to join together somewhere, but I'm going to have to do that in the plains as opposed to in the mountains. Connecting these 2 in the mountains is not hard. It's not easy. So this is going to be, I make 40. That's not going to make me any money. I could swallow it. Since I'm not getting, I have 60 bucks. This will cost me 40, but then from then on it's free, but I might want to hit this. I'm gonna swallow that 40 bucks. And okay, so the buses aren't making money. Well, that's par for the course. Okay. Where do we go next? The next company, 85, 65, 100, is our Purple, which is running as a regular corporation from now on. I think. But you know what? I don't know it. After capitalization, can place tiles or make updates as any other corporation, but continues to be able to place a yellow tile on the mountainous or hill. It does not pay any cost for this additional tile. Before, it used to pay no cost for any tiles in the mountains. Now it does pay for its first one. I'm running a 5 train. I got to do some thinking here. Important thing, I used to be restricted to not being able to place above here. Now I can. It's complicated. With a 5 train, I want to go 1, 2, 3, I think. Can't be using any of that red track. I am using that in weird ways, right? 3, but then it gets ugly. Where do I go from there? 4 gets me there, which is worth 60. If I cut down this way, I could hook this up for 50, which isn't terribly helpful. I'm having a hard time finding anything better. Like this could be a 50 as well, a little bit easier. Yeah. I think what I'd like to do, I think I'm going to run that amount, and I'm going to drop track down going this way, because that'll allow me to get into Lucca which is eventually going to be an 80 buck. But I could also swing maybe, that's ugly because there's a dot there. I don't see anything else of any great value, but Luka is going to go up to an 80, which is pretty damn nice. First thing, I make 22 a share. Do I want to swallow that? Not going to have enough money, have a lot of shares in there. I'm really confused that I have so many shares in there, but there are companies that have double trains still. So we'll be paying that out at 22. But before I do that, I want to take a little moment. This is the track I laid, right? There's only one of these in the game. The track supply is very, very limited in this game. Much more so than in most XXs that I'm used to. Is it a big deal? I don't know, because most of the terrain is fairly open. You don't have a lot of places. Do you have any? You don't have, I don't think there's anywhere where you're just like, oh, you're just so locked out. There's almost always gaps between the cities and stuff like that. I mean, not here, but, and over here there's a cluster. But it doesn't feel like there's a tendency for there to be a hell of a lot of nastiness. Like, these can be broken through and everything. But part of it is because they had to account for the red tracks and all the special cities and everything like that. A lot of the counter mix is just used up. And, like, the decision, you know, to a large extent, the size of the track selection is kind of based on, you know, the finances and the size of a counter sheet and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, it has nothing to do with the economics being represented in the game. It's the economics of the company. Pulling in a goodly amount of money, I think actually, I had $100 in here. I made 110. I think I want to buy this dot. Here. I think that's of value to me, because that's going to get me the 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Sorry, 3, 4, 5, 5, which I think is my eventual run off that 5 tree. Using my last token, but that's okay. Yeah, that's going to move us to, we paid out. At 22, we go forward. That's going to put us to the red guy. Is this thing. What's up with that? Oh. He's just in a shit ton of trouble. And I was like, this is not a game where sinking your own company does you any particular good. So, like, yeah, I only got 1 share of this shit in here. I could release a whole bunch more, like 4 of them, get some more cash in hand. But I think my main goal is going to be to try and generate money, you know, to make it through. This is kind of a weird situation because it's like most XXs, you're like, well, I'll go bankrupt. Maybe somebody will do things to help me, prevent me from going bankrupt, because it'll end my run, you know, like it'll end the game and they might lose because of that. Here, nobody really gives a shit. The only people who give a shit, this guy has a share, you know, yeah, that's terrible, a share of this company. But it's like not a huge reason not to do it. Anyway, let's get started on it. The first things I have to do is I gotta look here. That's a Castelfranco. Where does that go? That goes to Bologna. So this is kind of powerful. In order to take advantage of Bologna, I need a dot here. Well, I need a dot somewhere that can reach there. If I'm going to do that, oh, I can't go there. Yuck. That would have been my appealing place. Okay, where does this one go? Perisquito. That goes to Verona Brenner. That's not worth as much yet. So, see, I'm not going to be able to blast through here in a comfortable way. That's the disadvantage. Like, this might be a more important dot. Just because I'm hooking up to, that's not particularly valuable either. Yeah, I really don't go anywhere that useful. This is a shitty space. That's all that it is. What would I want to do? I don't know. This is just not a great company. It looks like I should be able to hook this up. So I was thinking, oh, 1, 2, boink. Yeah, no. Not allowed to use the red track that way. Is there a way out to somewhere more interesting? Is this a T-space? This is not. So I'd really like to hit this and a Bologna. Okay, who goes to Bologna? Reggio, Castelfranco, that's what I just checked, and Modena, and that's it. Now, the Verona actually is not that bad. That hits Paggio Rusco, San Felice, and that Peschiotto, which was this thing, right? This thing? This thing? Okay. So what I need to do is I need to find Paggio Rusco and San Felice. They will be good later. Like, this is a planning for the future. See if we can find them. This doesn't hook me in very well. This would go 1, 2, 3, no, 1, 2, I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, which isn't terrible, to be honest. You know what I can do? That's not bad. I don't have a 4 train yet. Yeah, but I'm not going to have a 4 train. A 4 train is not what I'm going to be ending up with. I'm going to be ending up with a 6. So let's look for those others. What are they? San Felice and Paggio Rusco. I keep looking for them. I'm not finding them. It's hard to see things on this. I think this might be it. No, that's Pavulo. Sounds like it. Oh, shit. This one, way up here, is that going to get me anywhere interesting? I can lay a dot up there, as far as I know. Actually, I'm not sure that I can transit the red track as a dot, for a dot. If I can't, I cheated when I put someone over here. I'm kind of worried I cheated. It's not spelled out here, but valid placement. A reachable city is any city connected by a valid route of any length to another token of the same corporation previously placed. I don't think the transferences that were through here were legal. Now, if this was built already, they could have made it through here. I'm going to obviously leave it as it is. I can't wind back that far, and I don't want to just, rage quit because of this. But it is just so hard to remember that this track kind of doesn't exist, this red stuff. You can't use it for any purpose. Why is it on the board then? That's my problem, right? Well, it's on the board to prevent you from being able to build that track either, I guess. But the game doesn't hammer it home well enough that that's sort of negative track. It's a place where track cannot be, rather than a place where, because all you're doing is jumping. Like if you're going from here to here, it doesn't matter if there's any dots or anything. They're completely irrelevant because you're running on the government line and you're completely allowed to do so for those specific little rungs, just a few of them. Everywhere else, though, yeah, so like these dots I could not utilize. So what was the third one? I don't know how to find these. San Felice. Like there was one I couldn't find. Oh man. Oh, San Felice is this doinker here. So I can cut from here to there. Yeah, that's probably not too useful a place for a dot. So what I'm looking at is if I put a dot here, which I can't get to yet, but if I put a dot here, I can go 1, 2, and then what? Jesus. The problem with coming down here, if I do this one, I don't know which one it was this town. This town, I think, connects there, Paris Kilo, Verona Brenner, yeah. This one would connect me there. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4. I won't be able to hit this no matter what. I won't be able to hit the Bologna. What was the town that could make it to Bologna? That was Castelfranco, which I think is this one. Yeah. That would go 1, 2. Three, 4. I could cut around that way. That looks possible. So I think that's where I'm going to put my dot. But I have no cash, which means I'm not putting a dot. Thinking real hard. But the reason for all of this, other than the dot, is what track I want to lay and start setting up and hoping for the best. And then I'm running a 3 train, which runs me 30, 40, 70 bucks. I can pay that shit out and I get very little, or I can swallow. Now, the key is how much is going in here and how big a difference it is. If I pay out 70, I stay here and I put 4 in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which means I make 65 a share for 4. If I swallow, I fall here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I make $20 less a share, but I make $7 more here. So I'd lose $13 in my company treasury if I swallow. So I want to pay out. at a big 7. After releasing those 4 shares, my stock value is tanked, and I only make like 260 total going into there. But now I have money for a dot at least. Good God. Yeah, I mean, he's just so hosed. He's going to fight as hard as he can to try to save himself, but it's just not going to work. Especially with so many shares in here. So like 50% of this thing is in here. Sure, more than 50% could have been in there before, but he can't sell it, right? He can't sell this because it's nothing. He can sell, I think, one of these, and he can sell that. He's just not going to rate. He has like 35 bucks in his pocket and all this shit. He's going under. So where does that put the next company? The next company, I believe, will be the FSF. Yeah. Which is over here. At least this thing doesn't add to the train burden. Oh boy, gotta think a little bit, gotta swap batteries. In an XX game, around this period of the game, things have kind of stabilized out and there's not that much confusion. You feel like you know everything. This one, I feel like I'm flipping through the rule book, part to find these fucking chart, but also to find the special rules for all the different companies and all kind of crap like that. And I'm just like, it is really continuing this kind of painful burden. And then I also have to remember this stupid event. You know, it's just, there's so many things to add to your burden of trying to understand what to do. I kind of understand why games usually add one big concept to the world, you know. Here, there's a lot of little concepts, none of which like affect things across the board. It's just a lot of chromey type rules in play. Yeah. Example, I'm gonna have to look up now the FSF. It has special track placement rules, which are not in the special rules. They're over here. Until the first 4 train, for all other hexes, its update tiles are usual. Yeah, so I'm gonna operate as normal. This is a big deal because I can't play in the Fs right now because of the flooding. But God knows I've got 2 trains to figure out in what is really a fucking mess. I don't want to figure it out. So I'm going to play it by ear and shoot my way down here into this, which is worth a lot. Now, what do I have for a train here? This can come up out of here. 1, 2. Oh, fuck. I can't go up there. I couldn't have placed this token either for the same reason that these guys couldn't have slipped in. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Well, at least I cheated with both companies. Fuck. I have no idea. I'm trying to make a run. With 2 trains, I'm like looking at things like, okay, I don't want to go through this Doinker particularly, even though there's a port here that adds a little bit. I can't upgrade that or anything. So I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, and then my smallest train is a 4. I don't know where to go with it. And then coming out of here, 1, 2, 3. I guess I could go 4, 5, you know, or whatever. But it's really, there's really like not a lot I can do. And this dot, I should not have been able to play. Again, whatever. Whatever. Yeah. I got no fucking clue. I'm not going to be able to run the train very well, which means I think I go this way. So this is 1, 2, 3, probably 4, 5. This is probably about as good as I can do. 1, 2. 3, 4 for now. Which means I lay this track. Oh, and that'll get rid of the blue concession that I wanted to get. Of course, that triggered me into, what's up down here? Because I've got a concession down here. Could the buses have driven into here? I don't think so, because it specifically says the tokens must be placed in the starting bases. The other tokens can be placed on hexes adjacent to those bases. Doesn't say anything about going into the off-board areas. It would make sense either way to me. You don't have to hook up that this thing. The reason is, and I gotta pull those back out. The reason is I can make the same money instead of coming down here through here, running that full 5 train. I can run 1, 2, 3, 4. That might allow me something more exciting somewhere else. Probably not, because there's probably a floodplain somewhere. But let me put the concession back. Keep that open. It'll be a way for me to make some cash for a cash-strapped company. Now that makes 280. I've got a permanent train. There's a couple of shares in there. I think I'm just going to pay out. Yes, I could throw all that money in and put myself in a position where I could get 2 permanent trains. I don't think it's worth it. Riding around is killing me. 75, 65, yeah. Okay, so now we're on the green company here, which is also running a 4 and a 5. Remember the flooding. That's much more interesting because I cheated here. I can run the 1, 2, 3, 4 run there. Maybe further, whatever. And this can go 1, 2, and God knows from where it's going to go from there. It could go 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and then this goes 1, 2, and cuts up and over and can hit all kind of goodies. So I think that's the way I'm going to want to go. Green has no more dots. They have run. They have not run, so I cannot merge. 44 run. We're hitting big numbers. Numbers that feel right for this. With that many shares in there, we're paying it out. Round is killing me. 65 here, 40 here. That means the brown company goes next. Brown company. Oh, did I cheat? Probably. Where did I lay track? This is not enough. Is it? Is it? I cheated. I can't make that 44 run. It would be $2 less. It would be $2 less because instead of going here, I had to go through here. I don't know what that means though. I probably upgrade something down here. This thing produces at 18 a share. I have 4 shares, 40% in here, or I could swallow 180. I think I need to swallow to try to keep my 2 companies alive. This feels horrible. But there's another company out there, but that other company may not actually be buying any trains. There's too much money on this thing. They're going to be able to buy a train. Yeah, okay. So we swallow our 180. So here I'm in an interesting position. I did that swallow. I have a pile of cash. It's not enough to buy a 5 train. If it were, yeah, we'd buy a 5 train, definitely. I don't have any shares, but again, he's going to buy that 5 train. I'm sure of that. Here's the question. Do I want to buy this 4 train? The answer may be yes. So I don't want that 4 train, right? I absolutely do not want that 4 train. These go away with the first 6 train, but I'm not convinced anybody's going to buy a 6 train. I don't see a company that's going to buy one, which means I might be able to run these guys until I have enough money on both of them for a 6 train, which actually means I shouldn't have swallowed. So I'm going to hold off. I'm not going to buy the 4 train. I actually probably should pay out instead then. What did I say it was, 180? 70, 130, 180. Yeah, why don't we pay out instead? Blue company, no trains. Gonna fall back. I get to lay some track. Okay. Do I want to start upgrading this or not? Do I want to dot? Like, that's the question. What am I going to end up with a train? Well, nothing. I'm going to end up being part of that, which means I don't really want to buy the dot yet. I'd rather hold off. I don't really know that I want this. It's not very appealing. So I'll probably just build some free track that doesn't hurt me like a doinker coming out of here or something. I just can't see anything else I can do. Now the key to all this is I put all my money except $1 in here. I buy his 4 train. This is just to prevent him from losing as many trains as possible. He's going to do the merger on his turn. This guy's never going to get another turn. Should I have done this company? Probably not. I probably should have just stuck with this thing. It works just fine. It had money, but I did allow it to infuse some additional money. Probably means a second permanent train. I don't know if I'm making money off of it or not, right? I'm not losing that much off of the share exchange, and I'm getting a stronger company out of it. But I am still losing. And is that stronger company going to be able to make probably yes, because with the 5 and the 4 I was making like 44. I'm going to be able to make money on the stock market, so I'll be able to go forward from that 150, which is the big worry. If you make that merger and you can't go forward from that 150, you've made a really big mistake. All right, that leaves me to one more company. I don't know why that battery's not charging, but this one's almost dead. SV is in a strange little position here. This train doesn't go away until the 8 train. The 5 train may or may not be my best move. I have enough cash on hand for a 6 train, or for the 5 train at a dot, but I'm going to be making money off of this. I got to worry about the floodplain because I'm in the midst of it. But this goes 1, 2. Can't do that. I could go to here 3 for 50. That doesn't help. But I could go up there and there. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4 looks like my best run. So let's take a look at what the money is for that. That's going to give me 70, 130, 160, and 50 is 210. Now, obviously, I could just swallow that and really start racking up the money. Here's the thing. Is that 5 train going to get bought? Well, I look around. This guy could buy the 5 train. He might be looking for something bigger as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's got a 6 train in money there too. Before the merger, I believe the merger happens after the run. I don't know for sure. I've been holding off looking that up because I didn't need to know right away. It would be a real bonus if I could merge and then use both trains, right? But I doubt that that's allowable, like normally. But now, so it doesn't say before until you get here that there's an active company. It doesn't say when the merger is done here. Gives you all kind of rules on the merger. There's not really I think, a good sequence of play. Where it says sequence of play, it's the phases of the game, as opposed to the concept of stock round, here's what you do in the stock round, operating round, here's what you do in the operating round. That's not spelled out. I think the only way it makes sense is after a run, when you would be issuing shares and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm going to look in the errata and whatnot and see if I can find something on that. But, you know, that's one of the problems with this game, is the rules are not very good. Like, they're very bad. In addition to the huge mental cost of all the shit that's going on in it. It's a very painful XX. It doesn't mean I hate it, though. Questions on the SEFTA merger, they don't tell you when it happens. There may be an example. This is CCFR. Where's SEFTA? The merging is done during the turn of the active company and is considered as the last action. Okay, it does tell me when. And now that one's not charging. There are cheap things I can do. Hold on. I just did the blue company. He's allowed to release stocks. I don't care. I say, I'm not considering like all possible effects to this, but I am going to dump. Wow, we have no room for the concessions if this happens. I'm going to dump 40% of it in. This happens now after I purchase the train. That's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4. I get 80 more bucks. Why is this a big deal? Because I'm getting some more crappy cash, but I'm devaluing this, which means now, let's look at this. These are 80, these are 20. This company's only going to be worth 100 bucks a share now. Should I do that? I don't really care, do I? I do. Do I need that 80 bucks that much? If I don't do that, we'd be worth 140 a share, and that would actually be the par, but par doesn't matter. Well, par probably doesn't matter. All right, fuck it. We will not do that. If I could have kept the value at the same point, like if I was banging over the 150 or whatever, I would certainly do it for the extra bucks. I don't think the 80 bucks makes that big a difference. I don't know what I'm going to get in dots. I think I just get this extra dot is all I get. I think there's 4 dots, 2 free, 2 40s. Well. I guess I'll be getting the 100 because I've bought a 40 already. It would have made sense to buy this $40 dot if I know where I want it. It really would. Where would I want it? Yeah, I might want it over here. I don't think I want it in here particularly. So I'll keep it at 100. You know, it's going to cost me 60 bucks more to do that, but like that other move. All right, we're on the SV. What did I say I was doing? I don't remember. I run out of here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Didn't lay this track. I bet you it's an F. It is not an F. So that gets upgraded. Or 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. But if I'm looking at a 6 train, yeah, this was the whole question. Do I want to buy a 6 train with this money? And I think the answer is yes. Either he's going to buy a 5 train or he's going to buy a 5 train. That 5 train takes a lot of, $100 at least off his burden. Of course, his burden is I have to get 2 trains at once. But, yeah. So I can delay things, which would have meant he should have swallowed had he known what he was going to do. But you never know what your opponents are going to do. You can just make a guess. Which means what? Do I want this dot? Is, I guess, the big question. Well, what am I going to get off a 6 train? I think the answer is yes. I think the answer is I certainly do want that dot. Because if I'm running just a single 6 train, which I will be eventually, I'll be going 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't know where from there. Yeah, good question. I guess up here, 5, 6 into there or something like that. When I have the 6 and the 4 briefly, maybe not for even a turn, I might have some better route, but that's not going to last very long. Which means, oh, 625, fuck. All right, what am I going to make? Because maybe I want the 5 trade then. So what was I saying? 70, 130, 170, 220. 220, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I make enough for the dot. Okay. So we're going to buy that dot. I think it's an important dot. Well, I know it's an important dot. And we actually have an upgrade trial that we can play. We cannot go to gray yet. We cannot lay that track. Yeah. Guess I'll build something over here. And it's a hard pass on the train. We're holding those. We might regret that. So we're in this kind of weird situation where both of these companies would rather have the 6 train. They have the money for it. And here's the problem, though. He's time limited on buying a second permanent train. I'm not. I only have 1 train. He has 2 trains between his 1 company. Now, I could just keep running this. There's nothing that stops me from doing that. And, it might have its value, especially if I'm going to sell these shares that I didn't sell. Okay. That's it for now. I am wiped out by that action. Put this over here. 4 a.m. after a significant amount of rain that actually got me some good stuff so far. I've got a lot more to do, but it's kind of funny. I mean, I had to pull myself away, not so much from Raid, but part of why I was playing for so long and able to do so is, hey, I watch my stuff on YouTube and videos and stuff. Not my stuff that I'm enjoying. But today I got sucked into like sitcoms that I had never watched. Yeah, they're kind of funny. Anyway, whatever. Just clips from them, not even like whole shows. Like I used to watch like South Park and stuff on. My past wife and I would sit down for meals. She's been on my mind a lot today, more than usual, because it's Halloween coming up. The decorations are out. I remember how she would jump in piles of leaves and sing out, "It's fall!" Anyway, let's draw our event card for this round. It's a general strike. Each company has to pay a political support card or have its route reduced to 0. And there's nothing to prevent it here, except for political cards. Our numbers The busing company is first. Have to figure out how much it's worth making the run and whatnot. But I might as well build it out. Let me do some thought. But this is interesting. Remember, I can only run one of these two bus routes until they get hooked up. Yet I can build two tokens, each beginning from a different starting base until they connect up. I can't get into the planes right away, so this is obviously, this gives me 10 more bucks. This gives me 30 more bucks and gets me next to the planes. I think I want to go this way. The question is, of course, do I want to go here? Well, yeah, I might as well go into the planes. That's free. So this would end up as only a 30-buck run. But now I'm in the plains and I can just, start moving my way across. But I do think I want to make this run. This is only for 40 bucks and it adds 30. So I'd be making 11, 14, if I understand things correctly. I think that's how it works. I'm just making sure because it is so alien to me. So yeah, 40 bucks puts me a bus here. Get some cash. How do I get money in this company? I have to swallow. Or I could dump a bunch of shares, dump its value, but it makes money. Let's see what it's going to make. It's going to be this route. 30, 40, 70 bucks. Is that worth a political card? I don't think so. I think we're going to drop back one because we're going to be able to play for free from now on, which is awesome. It is truly awesome. Well, Gut's not happy. So yeah, I'm going to hold on to my political support. If we were later in the game, maybe I play it, and that brings me to, let's just check, the 110 over here. What do we do with that? I got 40% of my two companies, plus a lot in there. I probably do want to run both of these, which means when we get around, which means I won't have any political support for the next card. And when we get around to the stock round, I'll probably have to buy one or two. So what am I looking into doing here? Because I built this curve, but I don't know if this is really valuable. Right now I'm running a 5 run. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Not optimal. But to beat that, I gotta hit more than 60 in a 2 train, essentially, with this. Well, right now, I could be running 1, 2, 3, and then where would the other two go? This doesn't get me down there. This is where I'd like to go. This would eventually hit 60. This could. I'd kind of like to go through here, but it's hard to get there. It's also hard to get out of here. Once I'm in this, it's like heading me down towards hell, right? Which is part of what the problem is. So this is adding up for 100. If I could get a 3 run that's worth 100 going up north, that would do me good. And I can do that very, very easily by heading into Parma here. So I'm going to make my regular build, and again, I'm allowing myself to trace over the red lines, which is cheating, but I did it from at the beginning, so I'm doing it throughout. Oh, I think it's cheating. So how would I get to Parma? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could lay track up here, and I think that's what I want to do. Because the V, there's only one of them. I'm wrong, there's two. I'm not going to be able to do this, which I would like to do. So what would be another option going in this direction if I want to? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then cut down for a 5. And I might be able to set things up if I'm getting a 5 and a 6 or 2 5s or whatever. But I doubt I'm going to have that kind of cash on any of my on that company. So I can play an extra track. I'm only allowed to play a yellow. That's ugly. Okay. Well, we'll head down this way. A run that's going to be worth 22 a share, which pushes me forward. We're going to have to do something about this. The bank pool is just fuller than, like, certainly than the board can handle, but fuller than I would expect in an XX game. I said 22 a share. Yeah, we're paying out. Just having an earnings tracker in the game, I could make one. Or take one from another game, because there's a whole set of additional of these markers. There's just no component that comes with the game. If I were going to play this again, I might dig one out of something else. But without it, it's kind of painful because, first of all, I like to be able to assess, hey, how valuable are these stocks? I can make a quick judgment, especially as you get late in the game. You can do it all on spreadsheet. That works too. Somebody actually mentioned that as like, you know, why use poker chips? Just run the whole thing on spreadsheet. And yeah, you can. And especially, you know, it's especially sensible if you're playing like online or something. It's very nice to have all the calculations being done, the bank handled and everything. Nobody's going to make errors with change. But also, it's helpful when I'm looking, like I've got this FSF, I don't remember what it made, right? So I'm going to have to go through the same work in terms of assessing what its what its runs are going to be. They're going to change because I'm going to be able to increase things. Run at 33 a share. That's worth a political support for. I got a lot of shares of it. Green company. I got to decide. Yeah, this is the turn that I have to make the decision. This is when I have to buy that 5 train. If I want 2 permanent trains and I want to mold the 2 companies into one another, this is when I have to do it. I will lose stock value. So if this goes up to 85 and 65, that goes up to 150. Right now, it would be 80 and 60, which is 140. So I end up about the same either way. I don't want to necessarily do the merge with this. I could rather do the merge with this, but this is the one I have to buy the train with unless I do something horrible. That something horrible may not be that bad, though. See, here's what I could do. I could buy the train with this money. Move this into here. I kind of want to make that. The merger happens last, so after I release shares, so I could fiddle with the price just before I do the merger. basically what I'm trying to figure out here is, do I need that 5 train right now? Would I be better off not merging? Of course, I can always just run this until, but here's the thing, they're capped at 150, so yeah, that doesn't really work for me. I think I need the 5 train if I'm going to do something. Anyway, with that in mind, the reason I want to do the merger with this one is so that I get to run this 4 train, collect the income for it, whatever that is. I get some. And increase my stock value and everything. And then I make the merger. That'll allow me to get 2 runs before I do the merger. If I do the merger over on this company, I couldn't have done last turn. Like last turn, I couldn't do it on either. This would be my first company to get a chance to do it, but then I'd lose the run off this company. And that doesn't seem wise. An upgrade here. This is where I want my other dot, I guess. I don't know, because I'm going to have 2 trains instead of 1. But for the 5 train, it's really good. 2, 3, 4, 5 gets me here. This is a terminus. I get the full value from it. Great. Is that the best thing I can do? Maybe not in the long run. Maybe I can go 2, 3, 4. Parma's only worth 60. I think this is going to go up. But I could do to here to, run that 2nd train. I'm going to have trouble running a 6 train anyway. I can't remember what I made. Okay, 70, 130, 170, 220, 27 a share is what it's going to pay out. And we are paying out. We even have some in there. Hate the amount of extra money I have in here. I buy this train, I get it for 500. Getting 2 5 trains on a company is great. But yeah, that's a shame, man. I haven't handed out the money for the players though yet. To this poor sucker as the next company, where did I leave the track marker? Move this around. FRE or whatever, which is just hosed, but oh, I forgot to spend a political support. I needed to spend one for this. Shit, I don't have 2 political support. I only have 1. There might be a reason to throw another 4 train out there and cause even more issues. What? The 6 train is going to kill the 3 BISs. Yeah, because my stock value is actually going to go down. So I'm at 85, 145. So I may actually want to merge right now because I'm not going to get a run with him. Well, I'm not going to make money with him. Let me think some more. Let's give me that $500 back. Putting that train back there. Because I think this event is going to make it so that I may not care about merging as much. I may be able to delay another turn. And what that means is he has to delay another turn and loses some cash from that. And that actually kind of works out nicely. Now, obviously, I don't want to merge if I don't buy the train. But now one reason I would want to merge early is to get a dot over here. That is of some value to me. Now, I might want to merge after releasing a share, which would drop this to 135. There is no 135. See, I'm at 145. There's no 140. There's no 145. Say I drop down to here, 40. That would get me a 125. 125. And I think that actually is the par value as well. 120. because there will be, well, there won't be any there. 125 would mean what? Yeah, I've got to think about this. So if I don't buy the train, I can let this simply sink back. It'll actually be here, which means I would only be releasing one certificate. And I wouldn't be able to buy anything with that one certificate. Like that extra 40 bucks would just be kicking around in the treasury. I would just be trying to equalize and get the value to where it belongs, to one of the spaces that's there, rather than lose anything. If I don't, then what? Then what? I don't know. I don't know which way to go. I think I'm going to delay. I'm going to leave the money on there and delay. That means I'll get another run and have even more money, because I can miss the 6 train. I'm going to have the kind of money where the big train is worth it. That's like 900 bucks, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm not going to be far from it, at least. And by playing with shares, I might be able to actually get me there if I need to. So if it looks like I'm not going to be able to get the 6 or 7 train, I might be able to afford the 8 train, which would really cause problems if that ends up happening. Yeah, let's delay and let people run out a little longer. I'm not in the mood to particularly hurt him. And I think this hurts him more than it hurts me. Of course, this guy is in better shape from it. But he doesn't have space for a train, but he's getting close to being able to buy a second train. Now, he could buy the second 5 train, but he's got to wait until the 8 train comes out or somebody buys that 4 train from him. One of these guys might be willing to buy it for $1. Out 18 a share. I'm getting close. 400. Couple more runs and I'll be able to buy that 5 train. But otherwise I get stuck with the damn 4 train, which I do not want. But what can one do? Well, one can look at his other company, which is also probably running somewhere around there. I had to remember to throw out political support. Really hard to remember that. It's like, bought a token, swallowed 170 bucks, spent the support for that. I'm also building my way up. I'm at 375 or so. So again, you know, trying my hardest to get to the point. I swallowed because I don't have many of these, but oh no, I don't want to swallow. Fuck me. Let's get that back. I said 170. I didn't notice I had 50% in there. See who's who. The blue company has no run because I do not have a political support marker there. And we laid a little bit of track. That's all he's doing. I could buy that 5 train, but yeah, the one off here, but that would just screw me over. So yeah, we're just taking a hit on those shares. Again, this is the guy who's riding me, so. But do I care about what we're going for here? 85 and 50 is 135. I could put shares out. I got to think about the value. So 125, definitely would like to sell one. Let's just sell one for 40 bucks. This is weird because this is actually something where you make more money if you can sell them one at a time, rather than rather than dumping a whole load. Normally, like from your own holdings or whatever, you sell all your shares at once, you get the full value, and it goes way down. So very often, people in an 18xx game are selling a load of shares at once. Sometimes when it's not necessarily clear that they want to sell them all, but yeah, it's like, let's just get rid of them. And I think that's the kind of circumstance that happened here, where maybe I wanted to hold on to one of them, but because I'm decreasing the value of all of them, and I can't guarantee I want to hold on to all of them, I might as well sell them all. But with this, I get more money by selling them off one at a time. And that's what I'm going to do here. Give me a delay mechanism, which will allow me to keep my value under the 150 as I work my way through. But again, this may be good for him. Speaking of which, we're on the SV. The SV is again, now they already made the decision. They made the decision already not to buy that train. And delay another turn, and I'm not buying that train for another turn, right? Is the 5 versus 6 that big a deal to me? I don't know. This is my bonus location, 1, 2. I don't get to go anywhere from here. That's the problem. I bought my nice run here, but I don't get to go anywhere interesting. Now, I can 1, 2, 3, 4 right now. That works great. But later, when I get that 6 or 5, 1, 2, there, I don't know. But anyway, that's what we're at. Which means, what do? I have a reasonable amount of shares, a reasonable amount here. I'm probably going to be playing my political support and paying out. Probably going to be buying a couple political supports just to make sure that we have a couple going, maybe more than 2 going into the next triple operating rounds because this wore us out. But yeah, this is the run we're going to make. I'm just looking at where do I want to increase, where do I want to build track for that potential 6 train. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Probably not going to be able to get through here any easy way. I don't think I'm going to be able to get down here unless I end up with a couple of trains. Now another option would be 1, 2, 3, 4. All kind of shit up there. Yeah. What did that all mean to me? I don't remember. Looking at 1, 2. Yeah, I want it to connect here. I want to avoid this dot. And so again, 22 a share or whatever. That's going to push these forward. We are going to have to make more room in that bank pool. Part of the reason the bank pool is so full is that nobody made a lot of money. So shares as they became, and also there's the ability for companies to release their shares and shit like that, which is just weird. Okay. So I'm collecting up my cash here as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 700. That'll get me a 7 train. You know? I'm playing the same game he is, and we're both delaying and letting everybody else get ahead. Well, what do I mean by everyone else and ahead? What I mean is this guy is getting ahead because he's got 2 trains and is running fine. The buses, they're going to do the same as they always do, but I'm delaying the train rush, which means the buses are going to develop and become more valuable. So he's going to actually be doing quite well. You can see he has a stack of cash about equivalent to this guy, which is to say these are the 2 people who got the bonus off this shit. The 2 people who did not get the bonus are not doing as well. He's trashed. It was his own fucking mistake. He should not have started a second company. he's okay. His companies are fine, but he's got about half the cash on hand and not particularly good stock value either, with the exception of this. So, you can kind of argue, okay, look, this stuff's worth 125 and your shit's not worth anywhere near that. So he might not be too far behind. He might be gaining ground off making the decision. And remember, he got an extra share out of holding on. This is the one guy who got screwed. He didn't manage to get the bonus out of this in either way. He didn't rape it. He didn't get to run it. And by running it, you get an extra certificate. So yeah, we are going to break again because each of these operating rounds is killing me. Right, here it is. I guess about noon on Tuesday. And I've been up for a while, did a bit of raid, watched some video, threw out a pair of shoes. This is rare. So I found a pair of sneakers here. I've got tons of sneakers that I found, but because I've been not walking home from the bar. I'm not finding them as often. I'm not walking at all, which means I'm not finding any kind of cool stuff. But in particular, I've been getting rides from the bar, which means my last kind of day that I'm out and about has stopped happening. And I don't want to pick up a pair of shoes on my way to the bar. I also tend to find them more on the way home. Maybe the neighborhoods that I walk home through versus what I walk there now. But anyhow, I found this pair, when I first moved to Eugene. And it's been one of my favorite pair of shoes because it was pretty bad, and they were in pretty bad shape. But, I mean, the sides are torn out on them. These are just sneakers. And they're still comfy. The bottoms, though, have holes in them. They've had holes in them for a long time where rocks were popping through and everything, but they're just great for dancing. Unfortunately, with the sides ripping out, I don't think I can keep wearing them. So I threw out a pair. I still have like 3 or 4 pair that are pretty bad, close to as bad a shape and are not as good a shoe, but we made our big deal. I'm thinking about going for a walk today. It's kind of a gray and boring day, but yesterday was very pretty. I did my shopping. Today would have been a better day for shopping because it's cooler. I bought ice cream and brought it home and everything. But I wanted to make sure I got the shopping done. And I was thinking about going to the cemetery, like I said. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it, but I'm up at the right time. So, I don't know, maybe I will. I know I'm not going to do the roof, like any work there. I'm just not in the mood. And it's going to start raining over the rest of the week. So, the rest of the week's pretty much shot for that. I could go for a walk in the rain. There's nothing against that. Except that I have to wear different clothes. So, before I make a decision on any of that, though, I want to get myself this operating round done. And to do so, let us start with what the event is. Landslide on the Apennine. During this operating round, tiles cannot be placed or upgraded on hill or mountain hexes. It does not affect the runs, though, at all. And that's going to throw over here, it looks like. I'm not positive. 110, 125, yeah. All right. Severely influences the CCERF or whatever. I'll be making the same run I made before. These boink, 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 boink. But I upgraded here. I'm not able to do anything down in the mountains, which is where I get my free placement. But I did upgrade the Horns of Happiness to here, and my hope is to slip into here and then get a little bit more money by running that way instead of this way. I don't have any tokens, so I can't really do much with that. And that's going to run me at 7, 12, 16, 20. Does that make sense? 7, 12, 16... No, 22. That's what made sense. And we'll pay that out. We might end up gathering up enough money for a train if nobody buys our shares. Would not affect the buses in terms of being able to place things, but the buses don't have anywhere too interesting to place outside of the planes, so I pushed into here and here, keep my cash, whatever, in case, you know, in case I want to make money off those. I do not have any buses in there. I don't particularly want to down my value with them. I don't know. Maybe I'll sell like just a single share, drop my value a little bit, but get a little bit more cash in hand. But I don't really need cash. Anyway, the two routes are getting close, but I'm going to be running at 80. That's not enough to give me a forward space though. If I'm not moving forward, it might be an appealing time to I want to, you know, to drop a share, you know, drop the value down to 100, start making it easier. Very soon I'm going to be going forward though, and I don't think it's going to be too affected. So this is 20, 30, 70. I hit this and I'll be hitting, that looks like a 50. So I'll be hitting 120 on this side. So I'll be able to start going forward with that. I see why the bus can get to 400 and no one else can. It's going to become a little monster. What decided me against it is that these are 150 each. If people want to buy them from here, they're going to be putting a lot of money into that bus route. So, and I also don't think that I'm going to be playing a lot down here, no matter what. The next company to go, this is 90, yeah, is this guy. And he's beginning to collect up his money. When that 8 train comes by, I'm quite possibly going to be able to buy myself another share. We'll see what our run is. This thing's kind of a painful run to calculate every time. I'm getting more used to what I have to do each time, so it's gotten easier. It's going to make a 36 run with those two, which is kind of nice. Green is kind of getting afraid that they're losing the race to this guy. He's got a 500 already. Yeah, I got one too. But between the buses, with their capability to keep growing really infinitely, and this thing running a pair of trains. Again, if I'm going to do the merger, I'm going to do it here, but I may just buy that 5 train. Who's going to buy it if I don't? He's passed on it a couple of times. I thought I would hold him over the barrel on it. These guys might be able to, though. And if they break it open, that's cool. I don't have to make a decision yet. Well, yeah, I do. I have to make a decision if I buy it. Ugh. What is this this little thing going to be making? It is running just a 3 train, which is basically 1, 2, 3, which is going to be 120, looks like 170. Unfortunately, that still goes before this. But this will get a run, I think. Let me just look at the order. This goes, this goes, this goes. I've got these two in order, which means he may just buy that. Now, what is that thing? This thing is going to cost 600 though. That's the problem. This little FBV is not able to make a good enough run, and there's just this huge danger that I get the 4 train. That's what I do not want. I'm not thrilled with the idea of paying 300 bucks in cash though for the 6 train either. So there's no good answer for me. In addition, I probably don't want a full swallow. I've got a lot of shares out there. how many turns am I willing to go with this as this guy outstrips me? Initially, my first thought was, yeah, I'm competing with him. He's the guy with another train corporation that's going to have a long-term 2 big trains. But this guy's going to have it if I let him go. I think I got to buy that 5 train and kick things off. I don't like it, but you know, 2 5s, a 5 and a 6, I don't know if there's that big a difference. There are no other companies available though. This thing can't start. These guys do not get to start, do not get to restart if they merge, as far as I can tell, the way things are worded. Of course, the option of running them separately. And I mean, my certificate limit, I don't remember what it is. And there's so much material in this game. We do have a stock limit here. Yeah, so 4 players. Before the merger, I'm allowed 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I've got room for a fair amount of investment. I could hold off and keep 2 of these presidencies in hand. Of course, that makes the merger more and more painful as I go. Not thrilled about that. And if I've got 2 trains on this, these shares are going to get eaten up. Of course, they might get eaten up by people who are not prepared for that merger at all. But yeah, I mean, they don't lose you money. You still get, you know, your $75, half of the 150 or whatever, after the merger. Gosh, I just don't like my options. Is what it comes down to. But I think I got to make the merger. Interesting thing: the first gray tile play can be the Modena spot. That opens up another hole, another token slot. I gotta look at the phases. What are my phases here? Okay. When do the gray tiles become available? The gray tiles become available on the 7 train? Yeah. So I really can't count. You know, that's not close enough that I can count and say, oh yeah, I know when the 7s are coming out. If I buy a 5, this guy will not have enough money to buy the 6. Nor does he necessarily want it. This guy may just be going belly up, but it's probably not until his 2nd purchase of a 6 train that will force that. And none of that's going to happen until after. So each of these is going to get another run. None of that screwy stuff's going to happen until after the SV goes. Yeah, I think I go with the merger, and I buy the train and go with the merger. What is that going to be? Is that 85? It's going to be 90. This is going to be 50. That's going to add up to 140. There is no 140 slot. So maybe I sell more shares to get it down to the 150, just so I'm getting the maximal cash in the company. Not that it matters, unless I can get another company. But if this guy crashes, his companies become available, more slots become available, all kind of interesting stuff happens. So yeah, maybe. If I've been missing this, but the green company can now hit 27 a share running like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If this is a terminus, it makes more money. There's always this sort of, hey, what do I do with this? This thing's going to be running at 18 a share. I could get so damn close. to buying the first 6 train, but I don't necessarily want to do that. But I think I'm going to swallow its $180 because that gets me fairly close, and then this one can swallow as well. It's not going to make as much. Am I right about 180 here? 70, 130, 180. Yeah. Create a 170 swallow for him. We see the stock positions. We did a couple of track lays in here. This kind of thing, and then something up here. Just, not to waste my track lays is essentially what it comes down to. Might have been best hooking up this way. Why don't we do that instead? Do the sharp turn. I don't know. That's what other people are trying to do. Let's let them work harder at what they're trying to do. I'm just hoping to hook up if good things happen. And that is going to put things on the good old SV, which now has the 6 train available. And all hell breaks loose now. That normal 22 a share. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's my 600. It leaves me with $250. So that would have been 800. It would have been close to this would be 11. So yeah, I wasn't going to get that close to being able to buy the 5 train and something cool, which would have been awesome. But we are buying the 6 train, and that opens up the death of these 3 BISs. We just have 2 of them here. Did we lose one? I don't know. And that puts us in, let's keep this page because this page is important. I lost it before. That puts us to phase 6 here. Each corporation can only have 2 trains now. Were we allowed 3 before? I don't think so. See, they repeat everything in each one, which... Okay, we're up to the higher value on the boxes, which means people are going to make a little bit more money. We switch to the 3rd deck, and that's about it. It's so interesting. I mean, the cards that we don't have. So we didn't get the First World War card, which would have been all players pay 10 lira to the bank. And I think that goes to an auto sell. Red Week, the FS route is not available, the government route. We had the Empire Declared card, but air raids, 10 hexes in the map are affected by airstrikes. That's probably the bombs. I don't know what they do. German occupation, a train gets destroyed, rushing things, trains on time. All routes of the railway companies increased by 50%. That's a nice little thing. Second World War, we didn't have that. That doesn't mean the war didn't happen. It just means that we didn't get this effect of 500 being removed from the bank. That 500 will, there's a card that puts it back, but maybe it adds just 500. Each player loses a political support card. If they don't have any, they don't lose anything. During operating round, all companies' routes are reduced by 50%. We had this one, I think, or something that was effectively the same. Each player loses 10% of his private money, but if you have 3 political support cards, and some people had that many at a time, they can avoid the effect. Each player loses a political support card. If they don't have anything, they don't lose anything. We had another one like that. A company train is seized for war purposes. I don't know. That's probably a random company. But, yeah, there's a lot of weird random shit that happens here. Now, obviously, something like, oh, you lose a train. Wow, that's a major hit on a player. So you can see these random events. I don't know, man. Now, if this one Let's take a look at 11.2. And then we've got something else we want to look at because we're going to be running this company and doing the merger. But let's take a look at that loss of a train because I don't think it should be random. I think it should be based on your political power. Errata. I should actually be back here for that chart because all the charts are back here, including that one. Bombs away. Air raid event is probably the most intriguing. I didn't see these variants here. I knew about this one, but I forgot to look for these other two. One's a mandatory merger. And then bombs away. This carefully planned strategies, expensive routes, government concessions, almost reached. Everything could be wiped away in a moment. If the air raids event is not already happening, it happens immediately when the random event cards are the third card. Yeah, I don't like that. But I could see what's going on here. But what is this train one going away? War effort. Let's see what we're missing. It would just be interesting. I feel like a corporation owning 2 or more trains loses 1 train. The corporation gets 50% of the money back. That could be very good. This event affects the railroads. It hits all of them. SARSA is not affected, and CCRF is affected if capitalized. First, consider the company with the most trains. 2 Gs don't count. Okay, so it's only 1. If there's a tie, the corporation with the train that's most expensive. If there's still a tie, it's the highest stock value, i.e. a little bit of maybe an evening, but you're probably, like, if you get to high stock value, you're probably paying a cost in something else. Like, if there's a tie, all tied corporations are affected. The affected corporations lose the most expensive of their trains. But all you have to do is play a political support. Okay. The corporation chooses which train to lose, but not 2 Gs. Yeah. Here you go, Mussolini. Here, it's some cars. It's some rail cars you can push down a hill. Have fun with them. The train is eliminated from play, and the corporation owning it gets half its value. If no corporation owns at least 2 trains, there's no effect. Yeah, I don't think it's that terrible, but what was the bombing one? Air raids. 10 hexes on the map are hit by bombs. Every player in turn, starting from the priority card holder, rolls 2d10. They only give you 1 in the game. Okay, sure. But the result is the hex bombed. And if it's a hex without a tile, it does nothing. Tile removed on a yellow. On a green, it's downgraded to yellow. On brown, it's downgraded to green, I guess. The player who rolls the dice chooses how to downgrade. I'm assuming you have to maintain track. The same hex can be bombed multiple times. Tokens already in a bombed hex are not affected. If downgrading a city causes a reduction in spaces, though, tokens are considered coexisting and active. And we've seen examples of that in other games where, there's tokens in spaces that aren't available necessarily at all times. Interesting. Like, they're all interesting. But, if you work real hard to get yourself in a good train position and end up not having the requisite political support, and it's only 1, but that may be an answer when you're going into World War II. Maybe you don't want to play your political supports on that, on all your companies or whatnot. Maybe you want to make sure you're holding one just in case that horrible card comes up. I wanted to allow the randomness to hit me more fully, so I didn't want to know the events in advance. But they're nasty. It's not just, you didn't make your revenue this turn, which is pretty nasty too, if you think about it. So it's like, I'm beginning to see having a couple of political supports and whatnot as just being a tax that every player had better be paying. That doesn't guarantee you anything, because there were cards that get rid of your political support card, force you to play one, just force you to play one, and cost nothing to people who are playing it riskier without the political support card. Now, things have to go really bad. You'd have to get the lose of political support and then have the bad effect. And as we're seeing, a lot of the event cards just aren't coming up. You're getting a few of them each period, unless I'm missing something serious in the game. It might be, I mean, if it's each rail company has to draw one of these, man, they're just going to wipe out. I mean, they're going to have huge effects on play. I don't think that's possible. Sequence of play, unfortunately, does not give me the sequence of play. Operating round. Let me try to find the rule that defines this, because it's possible I've been playing it wrong. You can't imagine, though, the amount of damage that the event deck would do if it's not once per operating round, but is once per company. Fortunately, they're not really good with the wording, and you can't be absolutely certain. The ordering here, revenue of private companies and advance the options markers, event card solving, operation of corporations, check the concessions, make sure. Check the concessions is weird, because that has two meanings. One should happen where they say revenue of private companies and advance the option marker. Well, one of the possible meanings of check the concession is, oh, I fell off the track. I don't get my concession. One of the meanings is check to see if the concession's hooked up. Well, that would happen after the operation of each corporation. I had taken it as the latter, the drop off the map thing, but no, that happens way up at the top with the revenue of the privates. So these two are kind of cojoined. That one might be too. It's very obvious, you know, with XX. But then we go down to solving event card. The player who has priority draws the event card for the turn. Okay. There's one player who does it. It's the guy with priority. But a turn is in XX parlance, is a specific company's turn within the operating round. So that's problematic, the way that's worded. I think I'm playing it correctly. Now, if we go, first of all, yeah, I don't think that there's anything further there. There might be something. No. Okay. Mainly all the cards have effect during the operating round in which they are drawn. However, there are some cards that will produce the result on next rounds, or that will have the result of cards that will be drawn in subsequent rounds. Yeah. They're divided into 3 eras. You should read them all every time a card is drawn, even though in some cases the description of the cards is sufficiently clear. Well, it's too hard to paw through the book to do that. All right. I'm going to run this company, and then we'll handle the merger. The company is complicated. I have $40, enough for a token now. I could place a token here and increase my value. That would make it. That would make me able to run from here to here, which I can do anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, but if I'm running from here to here, then I could add 2 big cities in instead of, you know. So like a 50 and a 40 instead of having to deal with this little piece of shit. I could pay the 40 to blast through this and upgrade it. That might be useful. Here's the problem. There's another token space there. Do I care? No. No, I don't. I was thinking, oh, I want to be able to place in that token, but if I'm merging, I'm going to be in this space, so I can't put another piece of this company. I could put a piece of one of these companies if they crash. Yeah, I think I want to buy this, which means I don't lay that track. I don't know what track hey, at that point then. Is, however, an upgrade for this, which turns into that and opens up another dot there. SA, I don't know what SA is. Oh, let's look here. Well, that doesn't have a T on it. So that is not going to be a place that I can go anywhere interesting from. That is, so that would be used as kind of a terminus, but I wouldn't have to use it as a terminus. I could run through that, and then it would be a 50-point city that I can run through, which is appealing. I'm trying to look and figure out how my 2-5 trains are going to run. Do I want this dot particularly, or is this one good enough? I think this one's still good enough. I'm just trying to find. I don't know where the hell I don't have a good location to lay my next track. My intention was to curve down this way, so if I could build, I can come up here. If I can build something that does that, I will. And I think there may be something that does that, but I can never remember. I know there's like a brown configuration that doesn't work normally, and these games never improve the brown track as far as I'm concerned. Ran for 21 a share. Selling shares is the last thing you do in a turn. Merging is the last thing you do in a turn. I think the merging is a special last thing that goes beyond the normal last thing. Because the selling shares is in the normal order of things, and merging says it is the final thing you do. I gotta do something about that battery. Valuation right now would be 90 and 50 is 140. 90 and 40 would be 130, which I guess drops to 125. Would I round? I don't know. The value of the SEFTA is the sum of the value of the merging with a maximum of 150. Place the SEFTA marker on the stock market table with the nearest value rounded down. Yeah. So I can sell one share without it hurting me. So we'll sell one and get an extra $40 in the company treasury. That's the first thing. Okay. Both presidents agree there's a route that reaches a token of the other. Oh, yeah. And no, I didn't need to do anything for that. They were there. Both companies have completed an operating round. Doesn't have to be in this operating round. They have both. The president of the active takes the SEFTA card and transfers to it all the assets of the two companies. The value will be the sum of the value. Okay. So it's going to have a value of 140 at the end of this. And it will have run, I think, no, not 140. 130, which is going to be 125. It's not clear where I'm supposed to put it on the track. In the eastmost available line, north, west, east, 125 will be here. That's where SEFTA is going to go. I'm going to flip these guys up to remind me that weird shit's happening with them. Everybody's going to get flipped up in a moment. Okay. Starting with the president of the active company and proceeding clockwise, passing then to the initial offers and finally the bank pool, each 20% in each pair is converted. Okay. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I will get 5 shares of this shit. It had better not be shit. Well, I will get 50% of it. Not 5 shares, because, well, yeah, 5 shares. And these will go away. Okay. Passing clockwise, well, we go counterclockwise. He does not have a pair. He doesn't get shit. He doesn't have a pair. He doesn't get shit. He has a pair. Grow a pair. So he gets one of these. Now we go to the initial offers. There appears to be a pair in the initial offer. I did not think that would work. And then the bank pool. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4 in the bank pool that eats the final certificate. There was only one of these. Right? I don't know. No, now I'm lost. Now I'm lost. 2, 4. Jesus. Four is 8. I think this is where I'm at. Those two have not been assigned yet. This is in the initial offer. After that, starting from the present of the active and going clockwise, it's possible to convert the remaining 10% stocks by paying SEFTA half the current value. Okay. So I have one of these. I can either pay, I guess, 63 bucks to convert that, or I will get 63 bucks. I think I want to do the conversion. Stocks remaining in here or here of these other companies are now discarded. Remember, there's one in the initial offer. I don't know what's up with this one. The remaining are placed in the initial offer. The par will be the new SEFTA value. So we have a par of 125 on SEFTA. I have no idea how I'm supposed to mark that. I could put it up here. It'll confuse me there. I'm going to put it here. But these two shares will put 125 bucks into the company treasury. And I don't have the right company in place yet. Now we check to make sure he has the most shares, and he does, so he gets to keep his presidency. Yeah. There's special rules if you have if you don't have two. You have to pay to upgrade, unlike the CCRF or whatever, where you get a free share when you become president. I proceed up to 4 tokens with SEFTA, beginning and starting city, merged cities, and then to other tokens on the map, and then to those present on the card. It is not clear to me that we don't have, like, it says proceeds to exchange up to 4 tokens. I think they're forced exchanges, which means I have to take this. The way it's stated, you know, the up to 4, it's all very vague and everything, but I think the intention is that they be forced exchanges. Hearing some weird noises. I think they're coming from my room. Probably just crap falling on it. I'm not used to being up here, so when stuff is, I don't know, the noise is odd for me. And maybe, you know what, I bet you there's somebody hopping around up there. It's what it kind of sounds like. Okay, so this is where we're at. This is positioned like this. I want to make sure that indeed I'm only allowed 2 trains right now. I know I just looked that up, right? But I can't remember anything ever. Each corporation can have up to 2 trains, yeah. So this goes into here. A 6 has been bought. That means that's here. Right then. And we are at the end of the operating round with, where's my token? Going to be on the priority marker. These guys flipped over. We have less companies. We have a weird 125, which I have no way of marking on here. For the income. We have a few interesting things we have to keep in mind. We have 3 concessions left. This one is just about ready to be hooked up. There are a lot of companies that can do it because the track is all open. So this new company, the guy with priority, has the opportunity as his first action to buy that concession and maybe get himself a little bit more money. He still has a shit ton of money here, $400. He wants to get another company to be able to utilize that cash. And I've got another $250 in here waiting to be released. So there's a lot of interesting stuff available here. We have not yet hit this guy going into his potential bankruptcy. He's definitely going to get hit pretty hard. What does he have? He has, well, it's not going to happen right away because there's these 2 fucking 4 trains at $350 each. This is a game in which juggling trains may save you. Normally, if you have only a single train between a couple of companies, the only argument you can make for not crashing is kind of, oh, there's someone else who's going to crash, and so that you have a race to the bottom to see who actually is forced to go bankrupt first. And sometimes it might be worth passing a train between one company and the other. Sometimes it's worth it if one person is crashing and is going to have to buy a train and will go bankrupt and only has one company and you have 2 and you can juggle your train to keep yourself from going bankrupt. Sometimes there's some weird shit like that. In this particular case though, all on his own, it might make sense to buy one of these and then pass it back and forth. Someone else might be willing to sell him one for less money. This guy is in last place. Nobody is going to get a bonus off of, like, well, people might get a bonus off him crashing in that these companies become available. The most appealing, the person who this most appeals to is the guy who only has one corporation now because he did the merger. Yeah, we removed the tokens, okay. I was seeing these red ones and I'm like, oh, isn't that the merger? No, that's that company. But one of these other companies, this guy has a fair amount of cash. Not so much. Might be desiring to shift money, to shift a train so that they can purchase another train at a later point. Now, that's all going to depend on how the shares fall and all kind of stuff like that. We also have different certificate limits because we just did this merger, and I don't know where they are. Again, certificate limits, I think, is only in this booklet. Got to keep this page. Oh boy. This is the page I should keep. That has my concessions on it too. It might be wrong though. That's the problem. Those cards I know are right. So if we're still at 4 players, the certificate limit goes down to 14 now. But if we drop to 3 players, it goes up to 19. All kind of weird shit to pay attention to. All right. So that's where we're at. We're going to be in the stock round. I got the marker on the priority. We're in the post-war deck. And yeah, there's still a lot of chaos going on. I had to slow him down. That's why I had to buy that train. I feel like making the merger I was planning on doing, I have enough cash, etc., and enough space to start another company to do all kind of exciting stuff if he crashes. If he doesn't, well, that's life. I only had 2 permanent trains on these 2 companies. Yeah, maybe eventually I would have gotten another one. But that bus company is going to become potentially a monster in terms of how much money it can make if it's able to link up. And this company, might be able to get another train. Maybe. I don't know. It does not have any stock there. It has stock there, but if this thing's going to pay out, people might buy it up. And the interesting thing is, him with 2 companies is not a powerful tool that you're used to in XX, right? You're used to, I have 2 companies, nobody dares buy 2 shares of my stock or anything. He's got 2 companies, but he can't move the trade. This thing's not allowed to buy them. So this guy has 2 companies with the capacity to dump a company. So he's scary. Of course, he's last in priority. This guy has 2 companies with no trains. Everybody's going to divest. I mean, his stocks are horrible. All right, let's send this up and let's swap batteries.